REX takes aim at Zillow with a new lawsuit. And I have to say, most articles say Zillow and NAR. So after this article comes to us from Inman and a variety of other sources, but I'm going to be citing the Inman article. It says, after working with the Department of Justice in a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors. So that's interesting. REX worked with the Department of Justice to sue the National Association of Realtors earlier in the year and sued the state of Oregon. Discount real estate agent brokerage REX has set its sights on Zillow. The company filed Tuesday an antitrust suit against Zillow, Trulia, and NAR. So here's the quote from Jack Ryan. I think it's from Jack Ryan. REX brings this lawsuit, or it may be actually words from the lawsuit itself. REX brings this lawsuit to keep digital hubs of real estate economy open so that consumers have the benefit of innovation and cost savings that come from competition. The complaint reads, REX was founded to, quote, drastically reduce commissions, and they make no bones about it. The company itself was founded by Jack Ryan, who is a former politician. I guess he kind of still is, because he has a lot of support from politicians around the country who came out and tweeted that they were backing him and backing the lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors, which maybe this is part of what the National Association of Realtors gets with playing politics so often. I don't know. This is one of the things that we talked about, I guess. When was that? In October?
Yeah, but haven't we discussed that they are backed, like money backed? Like these politicians have skin in this game to support Rex. So yes. Where are their loyalties truly lying?
It's not a giant company, I don't think.
No.
If you are in Clubhouse and you're a Rex agent, I definitely want to hear from you. Are there Rex agents? I don't know if there are Rex agents.
Wait, are there Rex agents? I don't know.
If there's a Rex agent, I want to hear from you for sure. Wait, on Clubhouse, let me turn off my Wi-Fi because it's giving me the red bar of death. So hopefully those guys can hear me well there. Okay. Zillow recently implemented website changes. We all talked about this on the show whenever they made the MLS and integrated the MLS with their website. It made non-MLS listings accessible only via a recessed, obscured, and deceptive tab consumers do not see, and even professional real estate agents find deceiving, the complaint reads. The result is that REX listings are losing significant traffic, severely impacting REX's reputation. Now, I thought this was interesting too, because you have a giant company that's a consumer portal, and you have another company that has now been built on traffic from that consumer portal, but I don't know of an agreement that requires Zillow to display anyone else's listings. I don't have an agreement on my website to display REX's listings unless they're literally inside of the MLS.
Your MLS, right? And by the way, for the consumers watching, MLS is short for multiple listing service. It's our holy grail where we put all of our listings.
Right. Let's see the results. I'm going to keep going here. The settlement also specifically states that MLS and brokerages must provide all consumers all properties, quote unquote, fit their criteria, regardless of compensation offered. That's what the result of the DOJ suit was, which we already talked about. Quote, Zillow is committed to providing consumers. This is Zillow's response. Zillow is committed to providing consumers with the most complete, up-to-date housing and listing information possible on a single platform. As part of our switch to MLS, Internet Data Exchange feeds, and becoming a formal MLS participant earlier this year, we made the required changes so the way some listings appear on the site in order to comply with MLS rules. So they're basically saying, we're doing this because it's the MLS rules fault. As a result, when using one of our platforms to search homes, buyer now see two options to view their search results: agent listings or other listings, which include for sale by owner listings, coming soon listings, non-MLS for that matter, and most other real estate sites. All right. So what do you think of this? Is this frivolous? Is it going to go through? We have someone with special expertise in our Clubhouse that I'll bring up later. Lance, he's the owner of realty.com. I'd love to get his thoughts on it too. He joined us last week. But Dan, what are your thoughts first on this lawsuit? And granted, we are not attorneys. We're simply real estate agents that have been working in the business a while, kind of know how the business works. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I've been in the business 40 years, by the way. So I started when I was 7. My initial reaction was, because remember, there was a thing called purple bricks in this country, and they are now gone. And what was their major foundation that they were going to change the game on? What was their major foundation, Ray?
Reduction of commissions, right?
Reduction of commissions. But what we've all learned, and we knew this before, but what we learned through that process as we, the Bearded Men of Real Estate, ushered Purple Bricks out of the country. we take full responsibility for getting them out of this country. But we learned that the services just wasn't there, and or the service just wasn't there. That when you pay a full commission, it's just not there. It's not possible with all the marketing that top agents do and all the connections we have to other agents and other buyers and all that stuff in our pools. Like, you just don't get it. You can't possibly provide that level of service. And then remember what they tried to do? They were like, no, it's $3,500. That's what we charge. And you get high-end listing photos, marketing, the whole thing. It didn't work. So after a few months, they were like, okay, now you can choose from the different, what they call it, a marketing suite or something. But it essentially went back up to what we already charge, and then more, actually. It ended up being more. So, all that to say, it feels a little bit like, hey, our thing isn't working. So what do? Oh, yep. Zillow changed a thing. How do we get headlines to make people know that we exist? Let's go after Zillow, and then people will know we exist because our thing isn't working. That's my initial kind of knee-jerk reaction, which is, our thing isn't working. We need to get headlines. So let's attack Zillow. But I'm about to take Zillow's side because they're following the rules. They're saying, hey, we're showing everything through our IDX feed. We're showing everything that's on any MLS across the country. So if you're not going to show stuff on the MLS, then we're not going to show. We're going to put a separate tab. We're not saying we won't show it. We're going to put it into a separate tab so you can go there. But they're not. Yeah. They're not back channeling anything. They're just. It's just, I don't know. I hate to agree with Zillow, but they're doing what they need to be doing and what they say they're doing. And it feels a little bit like Rex is like, well, my thing didn't work, so I gotta blame someone. But maybe it just doesn't work, Rex. I don't know.
I just wrote down my thoughts so I don't forget them. I'm fully in agreement with you. It seems like they had a plan, they had a business plan, and now because of the recent changes, they're noticing a reduction in traffic. I want to bring up Lance, but first, Melissa Mara says, I got crap from a Rex agent recently because he can't read the MLS.
Because they don't know what the MLS is.
They're not in the MLS.
Well, think about that. What if you're a brand new agent and you go to Rex? You have no idea what the MLS or their policies are.
So I'm assuming this is like just a real estate agent, right? And they're not a realtor, maybe. If they are realtors, they would have to abide by the MLS and be listed in the MLS.
Yeah.
And so we'll get into the kind of the professional part of this in a minute. There's some really interesting on the Inman article. They've ported over the Facebook comments to that article so that you could see. The top comment is by a guy named Chris Allen Taylor. Talks about working with a builder. The buyer was trying to buy a builder home. They couldn't get out of their agreement with REX. Essentially, their new home purchase was canceled because REX wouldn't cancel the agreement with them. And all REX had done was try to list them on Zillow, but they had absolutely no traffic. So I don't know if that's the business model. I'm unfamiliar with the full listing program of REX, but Let me bring up Lance. I'm going to go to Clubhouse, and I want to bring up Lance to hear what he has to say about it. And Lance, give us a little intro. Tell us who you are again, and what do you think of this lawsuit? Is this thing frivolous or does it have legs?
Of course, yeah, Ray. I love to speak to you. So this is Lance Custon. I'm the CEO of Realty.com. We are a nationwide search portal where every individual realtor gets the city as their website. And just like Zillow now doing IDX, we need to abide by all the rules. And Ray, you took the words out of my mouth, actually, that if Zillow's abiding by the rules, there's nothing really Rex can do at this point. And each MLS has different unique rules. Each MLS has different unique display rules. And just like what Zillow's doing, we abide to the book by what they say. And just because Zillow decides to change their business model at this point, I don't completely agree with what Rex is doing, because Zillow decides to make a change. And even though, as agents, I'm an agent myself, we might not all agree with this change. It is them joining the MLSs, getting the IDX feeds. And now that they have this other listing section, it's what's required. And that other listing section, I was actually browsing Zillow the other day, that other listing section actually is taking away engagement and taking away traffic from those other listings. But it's just what they've chosen to do at this point.
Yeah, and as being members of the MLS, I'm not required to have for sale by owner or REX listings on my website either.
Right.
So I totally agree with you, Lance, too. It seems like, oh wait, I see that you're blinking. Let me come back over to you. What was that?
Yeah, we don't list any for sale by owners. We don't list anything that is not on the MLS. And we stick directly to the feed coming from the MLS for accuracy. The biggest problem is when you don't have that feed, you don't have the accuracy, and you could be giving agents things that are expired or canceled or already sold. And the MLS ensures that level of accuracy because every member of that immediately updates it when they have taken action on one of their properties.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too. So I think if this actually has legs and goes through, it would seem that all professional organizations are at risk of being sued by those outside of the professional organization who they then believe that there's some kind of anti-competitive behavior requiring people to be in the organization and to operate a specific way. One of the reasons the National Association of Realtors was created was to help protect consumers and was to be a real consumer advocate of, helping people to get in a home and, hey, let's all get together as realtors and let's do rule right. We have a code of ethics. Everything we do is more scrutinized. There are more rules involved. And if someone like REX can come in and say, well, hey, this thing that you guys built, we want our listings to be in there too. And yet they don't have to abide by all of the code of ethics. They don't have to be participating members of Realtor, and they're not paying the money to be a member. Then it would seem like this would end professional organizations. Basically, they're saying because you guys are a professional organization, this is exclusionary behavior and anti-competitive. And I just don't see where that can't be passed, because then you're going to have a guy that says he's an appraiser. And does he have an appraiser? Is he a member of the local appraiser? No, but he's just going to be like, well, you guys are excluding me.
Right.
I can give you a house value just as good as the next guy.
But I'm not an appraiser.
Right. I just don't see how this seems to be Pandora's box if they would allow someone from outside a professional organization to sue like that.
Can I give another analogy? Let's say, I go to a doctor and I say my elbow hurts when I do this. First of all, he says don't do that, but it hurts when I do this. So he's going to give this course of action and say it's going to cost this much. Then I go get a second opinion. He goes, you know what? I agree with that. And it's going to cost, maybe I'll charge a little bit less just because whatever. But they're both the same opinion. They're both doctors. They have their doctorates. They've gone to school. And then I go to just some dude named Cliff. That's like
Cliff.
Yeah, no, not even that. He doesn't even claim that. He's just like, no, I'm a dude, but I'm just some guy that can help you. And I'm going to fix your elbow and I'll do it for $80. I'm not going to trust the guy for $80 because he hasn't gone through, and now we do have issues with NAR. We do, the $250 thing, or $50,000 thing, the weird logo, the funny commercials, which I still love, but where's our money being spent? I get all that, but I hold it in very high regard that we need to follow our code of ethics, and they are trying to be better about those code of ethics. And I think they're working slowly but surely to make more real estate agents better. So if we have to adhere to those guidelines that are set forth by our governing body, then that makes us the standard in the industry, right? Not just some dude that goes, no, I'm a realtor and I can help you buy. I'm a real estate agent and I can help you buy or sell a home, and I'll charge you, $80. And that's essentially the Rex is. They're like, no. Who knows what we are? Who knows where our license stands? We don't put anything in the multiple listing service, but we'll charge you less. And it's like,
and they're going to use other people's businesses. Like if Lance, would allow just anyone to list a property, they're basically charging a fee to enter in the property. And that's all they're doing. So you built your business on someone else's business. So when that business changes, you can't get mad about it. You should have built your own business.
Right. And hey, maybe you tried to build a business that was different. It was a game changer, but it didn't work. So you can't go suing someone that did build a business and it worked.
This happens to the App Store all the time. I mean, there was even a phrase calling getting Sherlocked, where this company named Sherlock created this really cool app to where you search your entire computer. You just have this search bar that pop down. You can search your entire computer for stuff. You could also do it on your phone. Then what Apple do? they developed this really cool search bar that comes down. And it's organically baked into the operating system. So there was a phrase called getting Sherlocked. It sounds a little bit like Rex is getting Sherlocked.
They've gotten Sherlocked, so it's a little bit, I think, sore loser kind of thing. But like, again, like, and I know it's an extreme example to equate them to a Cliff that doesn't know what he's doing and offers medical advice, but that's essentially what's going on. They're saying, no, don't use a professional that charges what they're worth and gives you max marketing exposure and a concierge service. Don't do that.
They're actually saying that we're not even worth that.
Right.
He said we charge confiscatory rates. I'm rephrasing, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah. So, and we've all run into these before where it's a discount broker and either it's a nightmare to get into that listing, or you realize if you do get into escrow with one of them, that seller's pretty much doing everything on their own. And then the quote unquote brokerage is just providing documents and then they have to fill out on their own. But you as a seller are not protected the way you are when you work with a brokerage.
Yeah. Let me get to a couple of the YouTube comments. Stephanie Morgan, she's on Facebook. She said, yep, she's tuning in. Dusty Martin says, I think it's just an unintended consequence of NAR's Rule 8 that everything advertised online must be in the MLS. Zillow got slapped by several state departments of real estate for not being licensed. She goes on to say, not being licensed brokers once they started iBuying. So they got licensed to comply with the IDX feed.
Right.
So now it really is a monopoly. Yeah, us and Zillow, which is crazy to, a couple of weeks ago, everyone was like, oh, we hate Zillow. And now we're like, ooh, maybe Zillow has enough money to help us fight this thing.
Well, yeah. It
right?
really does. Sorry, go ahead.
Time in order to get the data and, we're uploading our clients' information to competing broker. I think most real estate agents are not comfortable with that, but right. I think there's a lot Zillow brings to the table that's good, which I've said on the past shows too.
Well, and it really does amplify our need to really push forward to have our own, forward-facing, consumer-facing website, not what we currently have, which is pretty much for agents. And we're long past the time where we need to, who said it? What article was that from last week? I think it was last week or the week before, where we are the keepers of all the information, and then Zillow was like, "No, we're going to share it too," and realtors are like, "No, and fight it. Why don't we just come up with our own where we're all sharing?" We're long past the time of like, if you're a musician that puts out music and you only put it on a CD and you hope you're going to sell 1 million copies that way. We're long past that. You have to offer digital copies, to get your music. So we're long past that. So why don't we just adapt instead of trying to fight it? And I think this really amplifies that and also shows that Rex didn't build on such a super solid model, kind of like Purple Bricks did.
It's almost like politicians just building on the people. Anyway,
this week's shade brought to you by Zillow.
Christian, you guys also in Clubhouse. Do you have anything to add on that? Just flash your mic if you do, and I'll bring you up. If not, we'll go into the next story talking about pocket listing service. All right, I see Matt. Matt, come on, tell me, man, what do you think of this? Oh, wait, I have to bring you up.
There's a lot of good points, but I feel like you guys have put a big bow on that. So I just had a quick structural question. I was here last week listening to the podcast through Clubhouse. Did you guys get any feedback from Clubhouse? I know obviously there's no direct messaging here, but did you get any feedback on Instagram or Twitter about running the show through Clubhouse?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions of how we're doing it. I also got a lot of people that sent us messages. So if you click my head, you'll see my Instagram. You can connect with me there. Send me a DM. I did get a lot of messages of people that liked it because they could chime in. Even some of the people that were, just kind of lurking. They said that they still liked it, even though I called them out for lurking. So I do appreciate you guys just hanging out, chilling, listening. I understand if you can't always talk or add to the podcast, but yeah, we got some pretty good feedback from it so far. The best feedback that we get is that when we see that there's right now, there's 70 people listening to the show. So that's pretty awesome for us to know that there's 70 people on the audio version. There's a lot of people on the YouTube version and Facebook version, all tuning in kind of at the same time, making this really big community of real estate and industry experts to give information and also to just talk about what's going on in the world. So I guess you could, really, in a way, our show was early Clubhouse. right? We
Yeah.
talk about it, bring up a topic, we talk about the topic, and then
Yep.
people chime in on the topic. And that's
Exactly
really
what I was just going to say.